As we near the burial of the mother of the nation, Mam'uWinnie Madikizela-Mandela, we recount these courageous fighters' pivotal moments. And to take us through this is, did I tell you, royalty, Princess of Africa, Yvonne Chaka Chaka. Welcome, Ma.
Thank you, Godfrey, for having me.
It's been a while.
Long time.
Absolutely. And thank you for finding time to come and talk to us about Mam'uWinnie. I think we all have different kinds of memories. I remember memories talking about the music that we used to play way back in Zim to try and, you know, sort of help in the struggle against South Africa. But you were singing and you were also here. Tell me what you recall, what you want to share with our listeners.
I think as a young child, everybody knew who Winnie Mandela is, because you would see this beautiful woman, on television with a fist, you know, saying Amandla and things like that. And as we grew, we wanted to know, who's this Winnie Mandela? Obviously, we knew about Mandela. We've never seen his face and things like that.
Right.
And when I started singing in 1985, I was very fortunate. I had a very good friend, Sipho Hotsticks,
yes,
who sort of introduced me very well to Winnie. Mm-hmm. But I knew Mam'uWinnie because her grandchildren and my kids went to school together at Montessori. She was a great grandmother. She was always in that lift club, making sure that children are fed and children are okay. And she would go in the morning to Montessori next to Diepsloot. That's where the school was. And in the evening, she'll come back with the kids and, you know, would see her and wave, you know, when we're taking the kids to the car. And she was always graceful and always had time. I always called Mam'uWinnie your everyday woman, even though she was a very important person. Yeah.
So now we're having everybody sort of turning around and celebrating her and all those kind of things. But we know that in the lead up to her passing on, barely heard about her. Now, she is everybody's hero today, but I think many of us, including those of us in the media, failed her because we never properly investigated her story until that documentary last night.
It's actually very, very sad that sometimes your own people will distance themselves from you.
The prophet and the people.
Exactly. They'll judge you, they'll vilify you, they'll do all sorts of things. Yeah. You know, I'm very good friends with Zenzi. I know Zenani very well. And I would, you know, when I see Mama, I used to say to her, you know, Mama, let's turn things around. If Tata was the one who was, if you were the one in jail, do you think Tata would have waited for you? You know, I always ask her that question.
Fair question. Fair
exactly.
Question.
You know, so I said, you know, don't beat yourself very hard. But all I want to say today is that it's actually very sad. I've always said it in all my interviews. I've done so many interviews about Mam'uWinnie, you know. She'd been given a raw deal. Yeah. Because when people were not at home, when people were in exile, when people were in jail, she stood fast and said to us, let us not despair. So she got her directive from those people who were outside South Africa. Yeah. And she stood there alone because you were scared.
That's true.
I remember when Sipho came to me and said, Winnie wants to see you. It was in 1987. I freaked out. I said, what have I done? I'm not a comrade, Sipho. Why does he want me? Little did I know, there were 2 notes which she had given me. One was from Madiba saying, your music keeps us alive.
Hello.
And Mam'uWinnie had written another one to say, you know, I think it was Christmas or something like that. And it was signed. I kept this other one and I chewed that other one. But she had time for everybody. You know, I remember when we wrote the song, Mam'uWinnie Mandela. Yeah. The SABC would not play the song. We had to go and change the song and call it I'm Winning My Dear Love.
Oh, I remember the song.
Yes.
I do.
Winnie Mandela, but the song was I'm winning my dear love. Winnie, because you know the SABC were very clever, but we were clever too. When you wrote your lyrics, there was a woman who sat there at the SABC and actually read the lyrics. And if they didn't like what you were saying, they would tell you, we're not playing this song. So it's either go and change it and sing it the other way.
So one of the questions I'm asking on another platform is, how do we remember a woman like her?
Mam'uWinnie doesn't need to be remembered.
What do we do, though?
She will always be in people's hearts. She was always there in people's mind, in people's minds. She was always there in people's hearts. She was always there giving of herself to the people. Nobody asked her to be a politician. She was just born a politician because she was there. She did not wait for people to tell her. When there were disasters, whether it's in a shack, it's informal settlements, Mum Winnie would have been there. She would never wait to do makeup or whatever. Whether it was in a gown or whatever, she would go there. So she tackled the bull by the horn.
She did.
And whilst I was watching the documentary yesterday, when I heard her saying, when my children were being killed, I just cried. She didn't say, when those children, when they were rioting. She said, when my children. So they were her children. And Mum Winnie was very young at the time when Madiba was in jail. But she was a mother to even older people. So we don't need to remember her. She'll always be in people's hearts and people's minds. And she'll always remain the mother of the nation. It's just sad that we have lost somebody who was there for us. We did not glorify her. She did not need to be glorified. We did not love her and embrace her the way we were supposed to when she's alive.
So someone on Twitter yesterday says, we've been celebrating the wrong Mandela. And I just left it at that, and I will not ask you to respond to that one. But some people also suggested that perhaps one way of honoring her, so, we talk to her, we talk about her the way we talk about Nelson Mandela. How about August 9, Women's Day? Would that be something that you'd agree with?
Well, as I said, Mum Winnie was your everyday woman. When people did not know or talk about social injustices, she was talking about that.
And she was a social
that.
worker.
She was a social worker, and she was there for ordinary people. Whether you're a young, dirty boy or, she insisted that people must go to school, people must have education because that's what's going to take them out of their miseries. But with that said, she would then encourage those people. I mean, in 1976, I was 10 years old. She encouraged those people to fight against the injustices of South Africa. So something really needs to be done for this woman whom we didn't see her value when she was alive. But she did it quietly. She did not want anybody to say, yes, I'm the hero. But she was ordinary people's hero.
What was your sense yesterday after watching that documentary? A lot of people, and I've been going through Twitter, and she was trending, of course, last night, and rightly so. There was a lot of anger. There was also a lot of condemnation, if you like, of the African National Congress.
I was quite upset. As I said, I've done so many different interviews about Mum Winnie. With Matt, thanks to Chico and Sipho, who sort of, always encouraged me to visit her and be with her and see her, and would speak about different things. And I've always believed that she never did whatever they said she did. And she's a woman of honor. She was not given, I think she was just given a raw deal. But she was a powerful woman, but she didn't despair.
But you just put out a very, very important statement. It is something that I have always shared with my friends. I never believe those allegations. I don't know about other people. Why didn't you believe the allegations, though?
Because, it could have been anything. When you know that people can paint you black, they wanted to kill her. They wanted to break her. They wanted to break her spirit. But you know what? You would do anything. Tomorrow I can go out here and say, you know what? Godfrey's a drug dealer, when I know that you are not. And people would want to believe what they want to believe. But I want to say we all made mistake. I want to say here in public to the whole world, please forgive us in your sleep. We did not honor you when we were supposed to. We did very little for you when you had done so much for us, ostracized, disenfranchised, taken to Brantford, which I didn't even know where the place is, isolated, but you stood fast and said, I will fight for my rights to be free and for my children's.
And your message to young kids who have not seen this woman in action, but who have heard about her, a lot of people last night saying, what young women and young boys can do is to live her ideals.
I'm actually very happy that young people are emulating what Mama is doing. They're wearing the duke. They know who they are. They want to have education. They want to be the best, because it is important not to drop standards, by the way. If you want to compete with the rest of the world, you don't have to drop standards. And what I'm happy about is that young people have come with a hashtag, I am Winnie Mandela. So we need to live that and live and be Winnie Mandela.
Absolutely. I'll say something that you didn't say, and you used the word, we need to apologize. And I will say directly, perhaps the African National Congress needs to apologize to Winnie Mandela and to the nation. Yvonne Chaka Chaka, Ma, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.